So, hello and a warm welcome to all of you to this next session in the year of 2022, which is our first session on cybersecurity. So, basically, it says that it takes 20 years to build a reputation, but it not even takes a minute or so to just ruin that because of some cyber crime. And a good programmer is the one who basically looks both ways even while crossing a one-way street. Cybersecurity is a very important aspect in every industry and across all domains. Now, whether all these things are myths or facts, let us understand by our guest speaker, Rugved Jakka, who is basically a founder of Algosmic Cybersecurity based out of Pune. He holds a master's degree in computer science from the University of Texas at Dallas, as well as Bachelor of Science degree in information technology. He has over 7 years of experience in cybersecurity, performing several of these cybersecurity service offerings. Along with the corporate, he also likes to lend a hand towards children or young minds to make them aware and ignite the curiosity for cybersecurity. He actively participates in mentorship programs to guide other cybersecurity enthusiasts in their journey. So let's welcome Rugved Jakka and yeah. Hello, Rugved. Thanks so much, first of all, for accepting my invitation and being a part of this journey started by TechGatha to just create awareness about different streams in the young minds and the freshers or the experienced. So, could you start a bit about you?
Thank you so much, Shalini. Thank you so much for inviting me on this platform and allowing me to share my experience and everything. So yeah, thank you so much. So cybersecurity started finally for me after actually I watched a movie Die Hard 4, and I was blown away. It's like, wow, this is something cool if you can do it. I know movies take a lot of creative liberties and everything, but it was like this is something interesting. So that curiosity was always there, and because of that curiosity, I always went towards that direction. So when there was a 2-day workshop in my engineering college for cybersecurity, I was like, you know what, let me go take that. And after that workshop, I was like even more curious. Oh, this is something interesting. Then finally, when I went to do my master's in the United States, uh, over there was a guest lecturer who had come in one of our classes, and he was speaking about cybersecurity, and I was super interested. So after the lecture, actually, I went to him and I asked him, "Hey, I'm excited about cybersecurity. I know this is where I want to do, but I have zero knowledge and I have zero experience. Please help me out. And how to start, where to start, and what to do, what to learn, and where to learn from." This is exactly what I said. And he gave me a bunch of stuff, some free stuff, and he told me just read through this, go to the videos, do your own research, and come back in our office. So I went to the research, went to the entire thing, research, and then I went to his office, and that's where I met my mentor Sean actually, and he was a great programmer, and he wanted to teach me, and I wanted to learn. So it was a perfect combination, and that's how my journey started. And I went there, and he taught me everything. He started giving me books. He started giving me things. He started teaching me everything and everything. I started learning everything. So I started a whole breadth of things from there, and that's how my journey started in cybersecurity, and in being there for the last 7 years.
We can say that you landed as a cybersecurity expert by choice. It was not by chance because as a fresher, I've heard that you've seen, like as a fresher, I won't get much chances to select on a domain or a profile, right? So whatever comes onto my plate, I have to have that. I have no choice.
Mhm. Yeah,
So for you, it was a different story. But
absolutely.
you
No,
put in efforts, right?
absolutely. It was my choice that this is interesting. Let me give it a shot. So yeah.
So the way you said, right, as a fresher, as a beginner, I mean, cybersecurity is all over nowadays. We know that
Mhm.
it's such an important aspect, especially I guess after COVID, because everything went online. I do remember when my kids' online classes were going on, there were so many hacks happening in Zoom
Mhm.
as well. So there were
Yeah.
so many people entering into the Zoom with some dummy accounts, and they were creating nuisances in the class. So I guess post-COVID, has it impacted in any way to the cybersecurity area?
After COVID, I think it has brought more awareness because a lot more people were working from home, and because people were working from home, there was a lot more people that they could target, and because they were away from the protection of the company and organization, there was little more they could be targeted more. So yes, it has increased the attacks and the cybercrime has increased, and also because that the awareness has also increased because the crime has increased. So yes, COVID has helped cybersecurity in creating an awareness because of the attacks that are happening.
And has it created job opportunities as well in the market due to COVID?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's a lot of demand for cybersecurity professionals in the market, and it's been there for quite some time actually. Because I feel this is still a newish industry
Correct.
compared to other industry, and it's still evolving
Mhm.
a lot. So there's a lot more job opportunity right now, at least from my opinion, I think it's going to grow. It's going to keep on growing.
So, what would you suggest as a fresher? How do I start? I mean, how did you start? Do I join any courses or the certification, specialization?
Mhm.
Um, how do I start? Whether I'm fresher
So
or experienced, but I don't know about cybersecurity.
So cybersecurity yeah, actually is something that comes on top of of the basic foundation. So before you start cybersecurity, this is what I recommend anyone is before you start that you should have your foundation set up, and the foundations are programming, uh, networking, operating system, both Linux as well as Windows operating system. You should know in and out how the operating system works. You should know system administration. You should know how a network is set up, how the organization is set up, how a domain active directory is set up. All those things. So all those basics are really important. And also the other one is developing a web application. Once you have these foundation kind of setup, then learning cybersecurity is much more fun and easier. And also that you'll go much further in the cybersecurity field. You'll be much more successful when you're doing your testing, and if you're defending, you're much more successful because you know exactly what's happening with you. Because cybersecurity comes on top of it. Cybersecurity is not just learning a couple of tools or something. Because there's a lot of blending between different domains and different sectors. You should know your foundation, and then start with and then build on the cybersecurity on top of it. So that's how actually I started off as well. I started learning on programming, and there are two types of programming languages that I would suggest people should learn. One is a scripting language, and that could be anything. That could be Python, that could be Ruby, that could be Bash, anything. Python is very easy, very friendly, and they should definitely start. They can start with that, and very powerful. And along with that, they should also learn a compiled language like C, C++. There's Golang that is, up and
Mm.
coming, which is also really powerful. So these are the two different types of categories of languages that you should know. You may not have, you may not be proficient, or the master in that, but you should know what it is, how to program, stuff, and what's going on. So, and that's going to definitely help you while you're pen testing. So that's the first thing you should build on. Then the second one is the networking.
Mhm.
That is connecting computers from and communicate, and allowing computers to communicate from one computer to another computer, and all those things, the routers, the switches, the IP addresses, subnets, all those things, the whole CCNA, Cisco CCNA kind of stuff. So that is also really important, because when you're doing a pen testing, yes, you may get into a system. Then what? You should have this foundation to go from one system to another, or to know what's happening. Or if my attack is blocked, you should know why it's getting blocked, so that you can subvert that, and bypass the protection and go ahead. Only if you know the foundation, only then you can be a better pen tester. So you should know how the other person is working. Only then you can go ahead and evade those uh, uh, security gateway, security policies that they have, so you can do that. So that's the second thing, is the networking. The third thing was the third thing is operating system, which is Windows and Linux. I use something called Kali Linux as my operating system for pen testing, and you should know in and out about Linux. Because that's your operating system, and if anything happens, you should know how to rectify it. If something is not working, you should know exactly what needs to be done, what should be done, so on and so forth. So that's why you need Linux. Is you need that operating system for pen testing, for as your tool. But at the same time, you also need to know about Windows. You also need to know how the services are running, how and all about it for Windows. The group policies, all this, because that's what you're attacking. So you should also know what you're attacking. So when you get stuck, oh, this is the policy of Windows that's happening, or this is what could be protecting, and this is what I could do to subvert that protection, and gain access to system, or gain access to administrative access, or something like that, or this is where the password could be stored, or something like that. And that's why you need to know Windows and Linux, at the same time Mac OS as well, because again, that could be your target. So learning operating system is really important, because that's what you're targeting, and that's what you're targeting from. And so that's very important. The other part was web application, similar to programming. You do pen testing for web application. So if you know how web application is working in the how the engine is running in the car, you know how to attack it there. You know what's happening, what's not happening. So if you do like SQL injections, you can run through the list, and okay, it doesn't work. But if you know how web application is working, and why I'm getting that response back from the web server, oh, it's actually because of this, and none of the things in my brute force list is going to work. I just need to change this, and that's how I'll be able to exploit it, or something like that. So that's why you should know how a web application is working. So you should develop some web application, or at least you know the basics of web application. HTML, how it communicates with the database, how it communicates with CSS, all those things. So
The
that
protocols and everything.
exactly. So once you have those foundations ready, then building the cybersecurity on top of that becomes really really easy and really fruitful. And then there's so many courses available online. There's so many things available online that you can go, that you can research. If you want, I can actually share some. I have a slide, so people can
Yes.
pause the video or something like that. These are some of the online resources which are free, where people can go and access it, and start their cybersecurity journey. So just give me a second. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So as you can see, there are a lot of resources on YouTube. There's a channel called IPSEC, John Hammond, and Vivek Ramchandra. These are few of the YouTube channels. These are really good. They give you a lot of insights on how to do pen testing. John Hammond is really great in web application pen testing. He teaches you how pen testing can be done, how it is done, and why it is done. The most important question is why this is working and why this is not working. So John Hammond, that goes in depth in that. IPSEC is another channel that's available, where there are different CTFs that he goes and solves, and he shows how it solves and why it's working. Again, the question why. Once you start asking why, then you start exploring more and more, and then you go in depth. So because if you don't ask why, you just kind of run a couple of buttons, and then okay, move on to the next one, and you won't go in further. So that's another good channel. This Vivek Ramachandran, he has a really good wireless hacking course. It's like, I guess there's like 25-30 videos or something like that, and it's really good. He goes into detail on packet level, in great detail of why it's happening, and again how it's happening. So these are some of the free, and all these are free. Then there are some of the CTFs. CTFs are capture the flag. So what that does is, what that is people, they create vulnerable machines, and they put it online. so that people like us, enthusiasts like us, then actually can go and start practicing. So they put like one vulnerability in it, and you have to go and hack those systems and gain access to the system, and then gain access to the root system. So there's plenty. There's a lot of free capture the flag events or web applications online that we can go and start practicing. And also those CTFs have forums where people actually go discuss how to do it and how did they solve. And there are people helping out. So there are a lot of forums that are there helping out each other. So cybersecurity has a good community who actually wants to help each other out. So just look out for that. So a couple of really good capture the flag is hack the box and try hack me. So if you log in, hack the box, there are like several different images over there of several different difficulty. This easy, very easy, medium, hard, and very hard. Different operating systems. There's Linux, there's Windows, so on and so forth. So go there, start exploring, start kind of hacking. The more you do, the more the more hands-on experience you have, the better. Try Hack Me is another really good resource. You go, it actually teaches you how it's done doing. It has some notes, and then it's also an image over there where you can go and explore and hack. So these are definitely something that people should go and explore and start practicing. The other some of the other online resources, there are a couple of websites, hacktricks.xyz and pentestmonkey.net. They are really good web applications. If you go on these websites, Hacktricks, it actually has a list of all the, it shows how pen testing can be performed for each and every aspect. So it has different ports. So like port 22, if you click on it, it shows you all the different attacks that you can work on it. So and how those can be done. If there's a web application, if it's running Java, these are the attacks you can do. If it's running PHP, these are things you can do. So it shows you the entire how pen testing can be done. So that's a really so both Hacktricks as well as Pentest Monkey. Those are really good. There are some podcasts as well where people just discuss of new technologies, some of the experiences, so on and so forth. There's Upskill, there's Darknet Diaries, there's Tolas Intelligence, and so on and so forth. So and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more available things available online, and Google is your friend. Just as I'm telling you, all the answers are on Google. Just start type anything, and Google has everything over there. But again, Google has another disadvantages as well. It can get overwhelming. It can get, because there's so much data, and
Correct.
and cybersecurity is such a vast field that one can get overwhelmed, and one can get bogged down. I was like, oh, there's so many things to be done. Oh, can I do that? And there's different difficulties where you don't know. You click on something, you think it's easy, but it's actually hard, so on and so forth. And then you lose interest because you're not able to do. So that can happen. So you should look for. So I would also suggest look for other courses which can help you guide. These are the things. These are the things that will help you guide. Look for these stuff or help you build a path for you. But when you're looking for courses, look for courses that are going to help you build a foundation, and also going to teach you cybersecurity and the why of the cybersecurity, not just the how can the cybersecurity done. What I mean is, uh, like when you're looking for cybersecurity, don't go for and who teaches like verbs with just verbs or something, because, or just some tool or something, because then you're limited to that tool. And again, once after that, you will get lost and you'll get stuck. So look for courses that are there online, which teaches you the foundation and the why of the cybersecurity, and only then you'll be able to go much further. So that's how one can start. There's a lot of free stuff online, or if you want to go check out some courses, absolutely go check out the courses. But at the same time, do your own self study, because the more things you do and more hands-on practice you do, there's nothing theoretical over here. The more hands-on practice you do, the more you get excited. And I'm sure once you get access to the first system, you're hooked onto it. You're like, okay, now next, and I'm sure you're gonna get hooked on.
So you mean be a thief to be able to catch a thief?
Well,
Learn hacking.
I would not recommend that. I would think like a thief so that you can protect yourself.
Okay, nicely
Think,
put.
yeah. So cybersecurity. Or what we do is we emulate the bad actors. We emulate, we
Correct.
copy them so that we think how they are thinking, so that we are prepared before they attack. So because we are
Right.
prepared, because we know all their plays, we are protected with we are protected. And you know what? Uh, if this is coming, we know this can protect them. Or if this is coming, this is what we can do, or something like that. So think like a bad actor, but don't be a thief for sure.
Act like a thief. I'll correct that out. So the prerequisites, you told that it is like one programming language at least, and C++ is the core, I guess, because if you want to know operating system, you should be aware about how C interacts with the native libraries. Correct.
Mhm.
Now, this is about the foundation that you are building before you actually dive into cybersecurity. So if
Mhm.
I know programming, if I know networking, if I know operating system concepts, if I know how a web app works, if I know what is a server, I know these concepts, I know how and why and what, but still I'm not a cybersecurity expert. Now what it takes, like for example, in Java, we have Oracle certified Java certificates. Talk about networking, we have CCNA and so on, right?
Mhm.
So is there anything with cybersecurity if I do it will help my resume pile up? Plus, I'll gain knowledge. Plus, what is it that I have to look for in a cybersecurity course apart from these foundations?
Apart from these foundations, there's obviously, I mean, then depending on where you want to go, if you want to go in the so cybersecurity is actually has three areas, has three broad areas. So now cybersecurity, there's so many different types of jobs because it's relatively new and it keeps on evolving. It is still evolving. It hasn't settled. Okay, and because this industry is actually blends with a lot of other industry actually, there's a and there are different compliances also. So different organizations have different needs and different job roles, but in broadly it's divided into three areas, which is the offensive side, the defensive side, and the policy and the policies and the governance governs the policy. See, the offensive side is the attackers. Is the attacker side. Is the thing that movies made cool. You as I said, you emulate like a bad actor. You are prepared. You test the environment. You test the organization. You test the web application. You test that, and then you can and then you protect against. So the organizations know. So also, so in pen testers, I have another just to talk about the career options that you have with this. Let me share the screen again. So the offensive side, where the attackers are, that's where we have the penetration testers, and in that there are also again branches of this. There's network pen testing, there's web application pen testing, there's mobile application pen testing. So there are different. Also, there are different branches of that. Now, network pen testing is testing or making sure your network or your computers that are connected from one another is secure. So that the network part of it. The web application is actually the website that you go, www.icicr.com. If you go to the bank, if that web application is secure, and mobile application is what you see on the. So there are different types of testing. There are different styles of testing, and different ways of doing testing for all these three different aspects. Again, and again, there are some really niche pen testing thing where there's car hacking, there's SCADA testing. SCADA is actually for testing the critical infrastructure, like the electricity, the natural gas, all those critical infrastructure, they are on SCADA network. And so testing them is a really niche kind of stuff. So that's all the offensive side, the attacking side. Then you have the defensive side. These are the guys who are responsible for protecting your company. So these are the guys who make the policies, who protect your companies from the actual bad actors. So what are the types of jobs you can have over here is SOC analyst, there's incident response team, there's digital forensics, there's network architecture, so on and so forth. So depending, and the third one is the governance audit. These are the guys who are writing the policies, who auditing the company, performing tabletop exercises, awareness and training, and so on and so forth. So depending on what you want to do and where you want to do, what you're liking, you want to defend or you want to attack or you want to make policies, policies and procedure. You start in that direction. You start in that direction and start building. So once you have the foundation ready, then if you want to do more attacking stuff, then I want to do more pen testing. So start looking for courses that does more pen testing. And in that, if you want to look for network pen testing, look for courses that are going to specifically teach you network pen testing, how network pen testing is done, the tools associated with that. If you want to do web application pen testing, look for courses that are going to teach you that. So depend on what you want to do. If you want to be a SOC analyst, if you want to be an incident response, there's going to be other courses that's going to teach you, that aspect. So once you get your feet wet, start learning and you start getting your inclination, or what, I want to do this, I want to be a defender, I want to be a policy. Once you have that set, then start building on that and start building on the courses, and start taking courses that's going to help you in that direction.
So, is cybersecurity different across domains? Is there any difference?
Actually, no. Like most of the cybersecurity is actually domain agnostic. So what that means is mostly cybersecurity remains the same across different domains. There are some differences, like the different domains had different compliances that they have to adhere to. Like the hospitals, they have to adhere to HIPAA compliance, where they have to make sure that the client the patient information is actually really secure, because that's really important. Any retail store that actually stores credit card information has to adhere to the PCI DSS compliance, where they actually have something. They tell you, if you have storing credit card information, this is what you should be doing, and this is how you should be storing credit card information. So on and so forth. So different domains have different compliances, but apart from that, how you go about most of the cybersecurity is same. So as a policy maker, you have to know about different compliances. As a pen tester, it's really the same. Pen testing a retail store, like from my experience, pen testing a retail store or a bank or some other IT company, most of my process and the way I pen test was very similar. Obviously, what I look for kept on changing, but how I look for almost was the same. So,
okay. And there is a question in the chat window for you, in the Zoom chat.
Okay. Okay, so the question is, each geography has its own set of data protection, cybersecurity rules. So person working in this industry is going to know all these rules in detail. That's a good question. Different geographically, I think different countries have different legal rules, and that you have to know. And for certain stuff, like when you're doing digital forensics, you have to know that, because it deals with the legality of the country and that region. You have to know legally what is right, what is wrong, what can be done, what cannot be done. So yes, so there are some aspects of cybersecurity where you have to know the legality of different countries before you start pen testing or before you do those kind of testing. Uh, there's also another one, like phishing, when you're doing social engineering, and when you're doing so there's some rules where you cannot, some countries or some states say that you cannot record the call, some say you can, so on and so forth. So there's some legality that you have to know, and that changes for different countries. But when you're doing pen testing, like the web application pen testing, the rules are really similar, country to country or different locations, because that's more based on organization of what they want. And that remains because different organizations in different countries have similar rules. So when you're dealing with organization in in different geographical region, I think it's fine. But when you go the legality side of it, yes, you have to know the legal side of it and what can be done, what cannot be done, and so on and so forth.
So when you were in US and when you came back to India, did you see any difference? Do you had to prep yourself to be able to implement your learning in India?
And no, because over there as well, again, I was doing private, and I was testing organizations. I never did testing for the government or something like that. So what needs to be done over there also needs to be done over here. So because it so
Organization level is.
exactly. So it's almost a similar that we do, over here as well as in the US.
So when we talk about these antivirus or virus protection or firewalls, do they come under cybersecurity? Are they part of it?
Um, So it's again that is a broad area. So that is a gray area in a sense. Yes, you need the tools. You need those tools to put on your laptop. Okay. So if you're going and developing that tool, you are a programmer first, but with cybersecurity in your mind. There are always researchers. There are also, but they program based on the research done by the researchers. So the researchers, yes, they do come into the umbrella of cybersecurity because they are going and researching about malwares. They're trying to figure out what is the signature, and they're trying to figure out how a malware is working and how can it be protected. So all the threat intelligence that is done and all the research that is done, yes, that does come under cybersecurity. So that part of of antivirus and virus protection comes in. But again, who is developing that? He's a programmer. And that's why it's like a okay. Yeah.
So a cybersecurity expert will code. Will have to
Uh, if
write
he's
code.
if he's developing a tool, yes. He needs to go. Like a lot of cybersecurity specialists, they have their own tools. They write their own tools, and that's why you need Python and Bash, to write their own tools, to write some automation and stuff like that. If you're writing your own exploits, at that time also you need to know programming language, and that's when you'll be coding. Is when you're writing the exploits, the exploit that we use. What exploits are actually those. When you go online and when you say, oh, this is vulnerable. This system is vulnerable. That means that door could be open with the key which is available everywhere, and that key is technically an exploit. So you take that exploit and you go it and you run it against that vulnerability, and that opens the door, and that lets you allow access to the system. So that is what exploit is. So if you're developing an exploit, yes, you will be coding at that time. If you're developing a product for cybersecurity, like an antivirus, at that time you'll be coding. If you're writing your own tools, if you're writing your own set of tools or your own automation tools, yes, at that time you'll be programming.
So what would you suggest to anyone working in IT industry? Now, IT, I don't mean only a service-based company. It can be any domain across. So it can be an agricultural industry or a banking industry or a specific IT service industry. And because online, I mean, internet is everywhere nowadays. Everyone has come up with online services, and especially after COVID, I mean, everything is online. I mean, you have everything online available. So, as a fresher, when I joined the organization in the IT, is it good or must to have awareness about cybersecurity?
Yes, in today's world, you should know about cybersecurity. You may not know how to pen test or how to do it, but you should be aware of the concept and how cybersecurity is done, so that you can make better products. As you said, the world is going hyper digital. Everything is getting connected. Your laptops, your cars, your phones, agricultural products, then there is critical infrastructure. Everything is getting connected to the internet. So, and that is going to attract a lot of criminals as well. And you have seen in the last past decade, these cybercrimes, they create a lot of chaos, socially and economically, and it's really bad, So it is going to increasing. So because of digitalization, cyber attacks is going to increase. So each and every one actually should know. I think IT guys especially, and if IT guys who is digitalizing different domains like agriculture, food industry, so on, they should know us about cybersecurity so that they can protect, and they can protect against such attacks, so that they can actually benefit from digitalization, and you can enjoy digitalization.
So we should be also aware about encryption algorithms, SHA, and all that stuff.
You should. I mean, if you're not going into, so that's another whole niche of cryptography, of how things are encrypted, how it is decrypted, and that goes into the NSA and the intelligence stuff, all those things. Everyone should not know at that level, but everyone should know what encryption is. The broad level, what encryption is, and why it is needed, what type of encryption is needed, and what is the importance of encryption, and why we're doing it, and we should do it. So that you should know the basics of encryption at least, so you are secure.
Okay. And certifications. Are there any recognized certifications that can be recognized worldwide?
Yes, there are some. Let me also share my screen again. So, as I told you, the entire cybersecurity is is divided into generic three areas: the offensive, defensive, and the policies and the governance. So if you're excited about the offensive track, which is the pen testing track, start with Security Plus and Pen Test Plus. That'll get your feet wet, it'll get you excited, it'll give you the basic knowledge. Once you do that, then build on top of that. Then go and take the LJPT, which is the Event Security Junior Penetration Tester certification, and there's Licensed Penetration Tester. And once you have that, then you can go ahead and take the Offensive Security Certified Professional. So these certifications are recognized, well known in the industry, and if you put those in your resume, yes, it also gets attracted by the HRs and the other companies, because they know these are good, and the students who have done this have learned something. So these are some of the certifications. There are plenty more certifications, but this is like a generic track or general certifications that you should be doing. If you're more interested in the defensive side of it, then there is a certified computer examiner, a certified forensics computer examiner, there's NK certified examiner, there's access data certified examiner, there's GIAC certified intrusion analyst, and there's GIAC reverse engineer malware. So these are some of the certifications which are really well known and renowned. And if you put these in your resume, it's definitely going to highlight your resume, and it's going to be better than others. And lastly, if you want to go into governance and auditing and policy, then there's CASP Plus, which is CompTIA's Advanced Security Practitioner. There's Certified Internal Auditor. There's Certified Information System Auditor, and there's Certified Information System Security Professional, the CISSP. So once you have these certifications, again, you have the knowledge, and that's going to be good, and that's going to be helpful.
So all the three areas of certifications, depending upon my interest, I can choose. What types of questions are asked? What's expected?
During pen testing, during jobs, right? So generally how we ask, how I was interviewed and how I interview people. I'll just give you one example of for the offensive side. If I'm hiring for a pen tester, I actually.
So you cannot be. Sorry to interrupt. So you cannot be in all the three areas. They are totally different.
Not at the same time. It's going to be a lot. It's like you say you're a doctor, and then you cannot be an ENT specialist and a surgeon and this. So cybersecurity is like being a doctor. So, but there's specialization, and you kind of work on those kind of area. I mean, you can learn different areas, and you should be learning different areas. But then but you get spread thin. You can be a jack of all trade and master of none kind of situation. So you select a path and select a specialization like offensive or defensive. But do across learn, because if you're doing offensive thing, if you're doing pen testing, if you know how people are defending, then you'll be a better pen tester, because you know how people are detecting me, how people are defending you. So you'll be a better pen tester. Similarly, if you want the protection side, if you know how the attackers are working, you'll be a better person who's going to be detecting, will be better in incident response, you'll be a better SOC analyst, so on and so forth. So I highly recommend across learning about it from different domains, but you can't be a specialization in each and every one. You have to then ultimately select one thing that you want to do. So for example, if I'm hiring for a pen tester, I'll just give you one example. If I'm hiring for a pen tester, the type questions that I ask, what I'm looking for is uh, these basic foundation. Is his foundation clear? So I do ask about programming, I do ask about networking, about so on and so forth. And also, if people are new, if people have, I know, because I was there on the other side, I knew. So I try to see his attitude, if he's eager to learn, if he's does he give up easily, or does he sweat and okay, let me try again and again, because that one quality is really important while doing pen testing. Because when you're doing pen testing, there's so many roadblocks. Oh, this doesn't work, and then this doesn't work, and then so you have to go research, come back, then go research, come back, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm looking for. So I generally ask questions about obviously foundation, but again, and then I ask about some tools, and then I keep asking why. And if his kind of basics are clear, or somewhat clear, or at least if it's a difficult question for him, but he's still giving a shot, and he's trying it, and he doesn't give up. Those are the type of people I generally hire. Because even if he may not have the right skill set, he has the hunger. And if he has the hunger, we can teach him the tools, and we can teach him the thing. Or if he has the right, if he has the right skill set of his basics are clear, and you know exactly why things are working, then he's the right person, something like that. So that's how generally I was interviewed, and this is how I interview people. But different industry, there could be different ways and different.
And one last question from my side. I guess we have covered all the questions from the YouTube chat. So even if I choose offensive, defensive, or government, whichever I choose, so what kind of questions are asked in the exam?
Um,
Is it
if you
related to programming, networking, OS, bundle of everything?
it's actually more about if you're doing offensive side, it's more going to be about protocols, and then if you're doing this testing, if you're doing this kind of testing, and if you see this, what does that mean, so on and so forth. The OSCP certification, that is actually really beautiful. So what that is, you get 48 hours, and you get access to a lab. Your whole certification is you have to get access to four or five different some systems, and write a report on it. That's it. So there is no question answers or MCQs. It's actually, you have to practically hack the system, get a root access system, move from one system to another. There's X number of systems that you have to get access to, and after that you have to write the report. So 48 hours, 2 days, you're just doing that, and then you send the report. So so there are different styles of certification. The other MCQs, they generally ask what the protocols on these protocols, what type of attacks can be done, if this is the attacks that are happening, what can be done. If we're doing the policies, then what are the different policies that could be used, or or that could be implemented. What are the like if there's a so for just an example, if a company has a physical damage in front of the damage, how much time can a company be not working and that has to be decided. And based on that, you either have another hot side or a cold side or something like that. So those kind of decisions also needs to be known by an auditor and by a policymaker. Oh, you know what? Like if Amazon is down for like 5 minutes, it's gone. So they have to have, they have to have a backups. So all those kind of policy also comes under the purview of policies. And so those are the types of questions that they are going to ask, like something like that.
It's more about your understanding of what is cybersecurity, what you
Yes.
would do if you are in a certain situation,
Yes.
and how would you come out of it, remedy the solutions. And so it's more kind of the awareness about cyber. How
Yes.
much in depth you know about what can cause a crime and how do you
Yes.
protect
Absolutely.
yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's as good as you're going for a license and they ask you questions like, if there's a red signal, what will you do? Or there's a
Yes.
no
Exactly.
U-turn signal, what you will do.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, when you were saying, it's just that example that came in my mind.
No, actually, that's perfect. No, that's perfect.
The traffic signal. Okay. I guess I'm done from my side. Rugved, anything else you would want to add on?
No,
You
no,
have?
this has been a really good opportunity. So thank you so much again. And if anyone wants to ask me, they can definitely hit me on LinkedIn, and I'm open to ask and answer any questions. So yeah, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Rugved, and thanks all of you for being on live with us. And you can connect with Rugved on his LinkedIn profile, which is available in the description. And as well as you can go to his website,
.com. Yep.
So algosmic.com, and you can know more about him. And we'll come up with another session next time. Till then, all of you stay safe, take care, stay home, and go on and learn cybersecurity. It's a new field in the market, and it's going to grow and grow and